When you go out into the Swiss Alps, you don't theorize about what atoms might be doing when they look so amazing. You just breathe out with your soul and say, amazing. Because it is amazing. And when you go out in the outback of Australia and all the stars are so close that you could reach up and grab them like the Swiss Alps, you say, wow, wow. Or you say, again, wonderful. And that sound R is there again. The way you write it, you could say we're living in the sounds, and when we chop wood, or when we dig, or when we run, we're living in a r and the end, a r and then n. Yeah, or when we cut, slice, or when we see a snake and we're breathless. So many activities, or we want to embrace. We want to embrace something, the Alps, the stars, another person. We go out of ourselves. We breathe out. We don't theorize about atoms and molecules and RNA and all the rest of it. Certainly that's the job of scientists. But what we normally do when something is not well with us, is poisonous, is toxic, we get rid of it. We have a poisonous or toxic relationship. We have a poisonous or toxic workplace. And in these situations, or something we're doing is poisonous and toxic, we should be doing something else. We should be breathing out and changing. And that's a very important aspect of it, this changing. Because the word immune system comes from the Indo-Germanic root of a word MEI, which means to change, to do, or to go. To change something, to do something, or to go somewhere. Somewhere else, maybe. In any case, in most of our activities, in fact, I think all of them, we do something. We are using our limbs also when we're working physically or when we're working mentally. We have, or through our senses, through our eyes, we go out and grasp something. We touch it. We have, like octopus's tentacles, all over us, and we do things with it. It's in our language. We grasp things. We understand. We're standing differently when we really do comprehend. And it's funny that just at the time of the Spanish flu, a few years before, the Spanish flu was 1918, and in 1913, Rudolf Steiner introduced to the world this art of eurythmy, where we become a big larynx and work with the lines of force, B, G, K. And this is what's doing. The world's doing all the time with us. We meet someone. We see, we're amazed, and so on. Yeah. With these, the sounds are working in us. However, as we saw in the other videos, we can work in the sounds. When we're lifted out of ourselves, we can also, by someone else or something else, we can also lift ourselves. We can look. We can embrace. We can say, help. We can not breathe. We can bring ourselves into ourselves. Or when we're devoted to somebody, we're doing what? Or we can give. We can go. You've got to have a strong gesture to be able to give. You can't give. You've got to have something to give, and it's got to come from a strong gesture. And you feed yourself in your feet. Yes, this is what you can do. You can take hold and live in the sounds. Not the sounds living in you, but you're doing it. You're moving into someone else's space, but with gentleness. And for example, the sound n. You see, in the word negotiation, you start with an N and you finish with an N. But you certainly start in the verb negotiate with an N. Now, an N, you go down to somebody. You go down to something gently, and you, by going down and lifting it a little bit, also lifting it out of it themselves, gently. It's like when you forgive someone, but you forgive someone, you bow down to them, you say it's all right, but you also lift them out of themselves a bit, and that's more than just forgiveness. That's what we call magnanimity. Magnanimity. It's a bit like an N. In fact,